Hi, this is Carrie, and today I want to talk to you about why we're here, why we're doing what we're doing here at on our homestead. Today, my husband posted something on Facebook that prompted a response, and I'll share the link to what he posted so you can read it in the description box in this video. But it it prompted it prompted some comments, and somebody had noted how much work my husband does, and that he thought that he neglected our family. And I don't think he really fully understood at the time. I mean, this is a friend of ours, and it was just a comment. I'm not upset by it, but I do know that people see that my husband works a lot, and um, anybody that comes here and stays here for any length of time sees that he works a lot. And, well, we all work a lot. Well, let me rephrase that. He works a lot, and I work a lot in other capacities, and we're trying to get our kids more involved so that, but they would feel like they work a lot too. um, but uh, but he, I don't think people really understand what we're doing here. So this is why I want to talk to you about that. Our desire here at Wiggle Culture, as we call it, is to restore, we're seeking to restore the Creator's ways. We are homesteading. We did not grow up on a farm. My husband grew up living in the city in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. I grew up in New Jersey, living in mostly suburbs. I spent a year or two in the city in New Jersey, and then when I moved out, I went to college in Oklahoma, and then I moved out and got a job and worked in accounting in the city of Raleigh. And I lived there for a few years, and then I moved back to Oklahoma where I met my husband and lived in the city for a couple years. And then we had the opportunity to move here, which is my grandparents' farm. It wasn't working at the time. My grandfather passed away, and my grandmother was moving out, and they were talking about selling this land, and my husband was all over it. He just thought it was a neat idea. Had a pond in the back, and he likes the idea of going fishing, and it was next door to my parents. My parents built their, I guess you might say, their retirement home on the land adjacent to this property. And my sisters lived here, and I had a baby at the time, and we thought this would be a really good move. So we moved here, left Tulsa behind, and moved out to the country. And it was a new way of life for us, but we welcomed it. We wanted to get out of the city. We wanted to be closer to family. We wanted to be around fresh air, but we didn't know anything about having animals or having a garden. Neither one of us had done anything like that. Um, but there was just something peaceful about coming out to the country, fresh air, and just a slower paced life, so we thought. So that's why we came out here. But after being here for a few years, my husband decided, I mean, the place was a mess. It was overrun with poison ivy and just overgrown, and fences broken down, and just a lot of land with a house that needed a lot of work. And yeah, so my husband started to work outside to try and tame the fields. And he got some goats, and the goats eventually he got him to clear the poison ivy because he's allergic to poison ivy. And that kind of started our journey into living off the land and taking advantage of this beautiful resource that we had. It was a diamond in the rough, and it was very rough. um, but my husband really caught a vision of what this place could be like. And I'm sure he'll share about that in other videos. But that's what brought us out here. I spent most of my time, though, early indoors. I didn't spend it outside. I was raising children. I was pregnant when we got here, not knowing that I was pregnant at the time. So I had another baby right away, and more children after that. And we were starting a new life, so we didn't have a job when we came here. We started our own business. That was new. So there was a lot of things to overcome. That was 14 years ago. And so we've come a long way, and I hope to share more of that in time. But I say all this to say that it first began us leaving the city and experiencing life in nature with trees and grass and water and fresh air, and just being exposed to that and recognizing, we've got a resource here. We should tap into this. My husband saw, all these fields, and the thought of mowing them was like, are you kidding me? And he's highly allergic to poison ivy. So, you know what? A friend had a goat, and they were looking to make a trade for something. And my husband was like, you know what? Yeah, let me get a goat. Well, you can't just have one goat. Let's get two. And put up a fence, and he cleared the poison ivy, got the animals working for him, and saw, this is good. And he grew from there. And I'm amazed at all that he has accomplished, because he is the forerunner of this whole thing. And he carried this place for years, while I was trying to hold down things inside. But it took me a while to catch the vision of what he was seeing. And now I've caught it. I am all over it. I am loving it. And that is the restoration of the Creator's ways. We have so much abundance around us that I was blind to working in an office, in my little comfort of air conditioning and artificial lighting and entertainment on TV. I like to watch movies, and all the comforts of this man-made artificial system I grew up in. I didn't realize what was right outside my door. And it took me a long time because it was uncomfortable for me. But the more I went outside and the more I experienced what's out there, it beckoned me. It's just, I love it. I love it now. I'm not a fantastic gardener. I'm not a big animal person, but oh my goodness, I have come a long way. And I hope to share that with you going forward. But I see the need for getting back to being fruitful and multiplying and filling the land and taking dominion of the animals that are at our disposal. Why use a lawnmower when you can get a cow or a goat? Why weed whack? Why, take care of certain physical labors that you can get animals to do for you? Why go to the grocery store and buy food that you don't know where it came from, you don't know how they grew it, when you can plant a seed in your own backyard and nurture it and take care of it, and have food abundant and healthy, natural, nutrient dense, really good for you. It's all right there. It's all right outside our doors. But, I didn't know how to tap into that. And the past, I don't know, past decade, I guess, we've been learning. And my husband has been at the front end of that. And took me a long time to come alongside of him in the actual getting my hands dirty. But I'm starting to do that. And I see the benefit in it. And I've caught the vision and I'm excited about it and I want to share it. And so when people say, boy, you guys work too hard, your husband works all the time. I'm like, yeah, I know he does. And I want to work with him and I want to be alongside him. I want to be there harvesting the fruits of his labor. And I want to prepare that for my children. I want my children to eat real food. I want them to know where their food comes from. And I appreciate the animals that are right outside my window now that are grazing in the backyard. I appreciate the birds and the goats and just all that they provide in fertilizing our fields and providing fertile ground for our produce that we're growing, our food forest that we've planted and we're cultivating. Um, and to see how the Creator's ways work in real life, the sowing and reaping and the laws of that and the rain and what it does to the earth and the cycles of the seasons and just all the natural things that we learn about in school in books and we hear about, but I spent my whole life avoiding. Um, and now I don't want to avoid it anymore. And I want to be more involved in it. And I want my children to be raised up in it. And I want to share it with anyone who will listen because there's prosperity and abundance in his ways. And there's peace and an appreciation for life when we expose ourselves to it. And it all drives us back to there being a creator behind it all, there being an intelligent designer who put all of this system in place. And it begs me to want to glorify him because he's worthy, because all of this is not some freak accident. All of this is not some, um, it didn't just come here by chance. It was designed, and the person or the being who designed it deserves the glory for it. And we enjoy the benefit of it if we know about it, if we know what to do with it. Um, it's a beautiful thing. And so, yeah, we're working really hard right now, and a lot of that work is groundbreaking. A lot of it is trial and error. We're trying to figure this thing out. We don't have anyone showing us the way, mentoring us. We don't have anyone even coming alongside us on a daily basis to work with us. We're having to do a lot of things by ourselves. And thankfully, our children are getting older and are being able to be more involved. But we also have to overcome attitudes and, fears and the discomfort of doing something new. And, I have to overcome that. And in my overcoming that, now I'm trying to teach my children and they're having to overcome it. And it's a process. But as we do this more and more, I believe it will get easier. And there'll always be work. Um, but the work is fulfilling. The work, we get something at the end of the day. When we're done, we get fresh air, we get clean water, we get real food. I mean, the eggs that we eat are orange. They're rich and tasty and delicious and nutrient dense. The milk we drink, it's raw and it's from a cow and it's fresh and it's full of um, live things that our body needs. And the food that we get, we harvest greens right out of our backyard, and you're not going to get it any fresher than that. And it tastes better. And it's just, at the end of the day, we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor. So I don't mind working for it. And I find fulfillment in it, and I see that this is a future for our children. This is something that our kids are going to be able to benefit from because of the work that we're doing now, and they're going to prosper. And the animals that we have, they're prospering on their own. We're not doing it for them. They are fruitful and they multiply, and we just need to provide the space for them. And as we grow, we're able to pass that on to the next generation. Our kids are going to have something um, to begin their life with. They don't have to start all over and like we did. We're not going to kick them out of the house and say, go get a job or go, go to college and go make a life for yourself. No, we're making a life together, and we're going to help them in building their lives going forward. And we're going to be stronger as a family unit, and we're going to be a solution to the community and the world around us, by being independent, dependent on our Creator and the natural resources that He's provided for us, but independent in that we can function in His ways. And as a result of that, we're stronger and we're able to help other people who don't know His ways, who um, who are in need for whatever reason. We have something to offer. Um, so this is the beauty of what I'm catching the vision of. This is the beauty of it, the restoring the Creator's ways and how it's beneficial not just for us, but for all those around us. And it's prosperous. It's abundant exponentially. But we have to work in accordance to His ways. And that's what we're learning. That's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out how to be prosperous, doing it His way, not relying on our way or on man's way or on the traditional way of thinking. We're trying to learn how to do it according to His ways. And so that's what we're doing. That's why we work so hard. That's our vision. And that's where I'm at. And so I'm excited, and I thank you for indulging me and listening to why we're here, why I believe we're here. And I hope that this is encouraging to you. I hope it's inspiring to you. And I look forward to sharing more. I'm not an expert, but I'm figuring things out. And I figured a few things out so far, but nothing like my husband. My husband's figured out a lot more than I have. But I'm still learning, and I'm eager and excited about sharing what I'm learning with you. So, yeah, thank you for listening, and I guess I'll talk to you some more next time. Take care.